Hey YouTube, this is the P&D Found Treasures YouTube channel. Thank you for checking out this video. It's our very first video. Here at P&D Found Treasures, what we do is we go to thrift stores, garage sales, estate auctions, Goodwills, wherever we can find stuff for cheap and flip it on eBay to make a few extra bucks. On this video, I'm just going to go over a few things that we like to sell that have been selling pretty decently for us the last few days, just to kind of give you an idea of some of the stuff you can pick up. And then at the end of this video, I'm going to tell you about how I almost screwed up and threw away a couple $100 worth of profit, just so maybe you guys can learn and we can all laugh at me together. I'm so glad that I didn't throw it away, but I'll explain it to you later on. First thing we'll talk about that we like to sell is this right here. This is a Harley Davidson shirt. I generally like to sell all things Harley Davidson. You can see the tag right here, and then up along here, probably have a little bit of trouble seeing that with the hanger in the way, but it says Harley Davidson all along the top right here. And I'll take the hanger out so you can see. There you go, see it. I picked this up, I think, $7 or $8 at a Goodwill. I saw it is in really good condition. Made sure that it had the actual Harley tag. Most of the Harley shirts and stuff that you'll see, they're generally going to have this type of tag. I'm not sure why that one had the tag sewn in on it. If you don't see this tag, then it's not Harley. I've seen tons of shirts like this, these regular t-shirts. They say Harley Davidson. They have the Harley Davidson thing on the back. It tells you, you know, this one came from Riverside, California, which ain't that far from here, but I've seen them without those tags. They're not official Harley if they don't have those tags, and so I just stay away from them at all costs. I mean, that's just me personally. You know, better safe than sorry, I guess. Another thing that we sell, I like to sell a lot of coffee mugs. I get decent returns on them. This one I think I found, I think it was right around $1. You know, it looks like, you know, your standard coffee mug, but if you look at the bottom, that's my biggest advice on coffee mugs. Always, there we go, look at the bottom of the coffee mugs. It's a Starbucks mug. Starbucks is one of the best selling coffee mugs. I just sold the set of 2 this morning for about $20. One was a 16 ounce, one was a 20 ounce. They're kind of in a set together. They look nice. They even said 16 and 20 ounce right on the side of the mug. Other mugs that I've sold fairly well, the Disney mugs. Those ones are kind of another one of my favorites because there's a lot of Disney collectors out there. They love their mugs. I've sold Cinderella mugs, Aladdin mugs, you know, you name it. You can pretty much sell it from Disney. Another thing that I've been kind of picking up lately are beer glasses or any type of alcohol glasses. You know, this one's a vintage Coors beer goblet. I got a set of 2 of those. I think I paid almost $2 a piece for them, and they'll sell for about $20 total on eBay. I picked these up. Let's see, it's a Guinness Extra Stout. It's a foreign extra stout, I think is what it's called. Picked that up, I think, for about $1 a piece. I got 2 of those. I should get about 12 to 15 for those. Picked up 3 of these. They're Red's Apple Ale. I saw that a set of 4 of them was going for about $30, so I'm hoping to get about 15 to 20 for the 3 of them. What I'm really hoping, though, is if I go to my thrift stores around here, or sometimes I'll drive a couple hours away from home just to check out a few thrift stores down out of the way, just to get away from the usual stuff. So hopefully I'll find a few more of those, and I'll be able to raise the value on that listing. Another thing that I like to get, and that'll tie into my story in a little bit, are these little handheld games. This one right here, the brand new Wheel of Fortune. I have that listed in my eBay store right now at, I want to say 50 or 60. I think it's 60. I had a $25 offer, but I'm holding out because I know I can get a lot more than just $25 for it. I'll explain how I got those in a second. Also, these things. I was actually just reading up, trying to figure out some newer, different things I could get from my eBay store. These English to, or you know, Spanish to English. These language software. People love these because they want to learn to speak different languages and whatnot. This one, I actually got lucky. It was $4 at my Goodwill. It's got the software for both PC and Mac. I have it up for about, I think, 30, 30 or 35. I'm thinking 30 on my eBay store. So hopefully I should get that pretty soon. I'll let you guys know. So with these electronic handheld games, I got all of these for a grand total of $8. I was at an estate auction. Got your poker, slot machines, Resell, solitaire, all that stuff. I went to an estate auction with a friend of mine because I'd never been to one. We got there about 45 minutes prior to the auction, and so we could sign up. When you sign up, they give you one of these, so that way if you see something you like when the bidding goes on, that works, you just raise it up. And so we're walking around checking out some of the stuff, and there's like, I think 5 minutes before the auction, and there's like several hundred people there, and people are still looking at a few items just before the auction gets started. And I noticed that blue tub sitting out in the guy's garage, and I was like, oh, like handheld games. I'm like, that's an easy sell on eBay. I'm like, each one of those games generally, I would say, goes between 12 and 20 bucks a handheld game, depending on which type it is. I got lucky with the Wheel of Fortune, especially considering it's still brand new in the package. So I was like, all right, I'm like, I could, spend a little bit of money on those and still make a decent profit, no problem. Well, what they did is, because it's a state auction, the couple that lived at the house are an elderly couple. From what I heard, I don't know if this is the actual story or not, but they passed away, and so they were just trying to get everything out of the house so they could re-rent the house out and start making money off the house. And it's a really nice house. They had a main house, and then they had a second house, and there was stuff in both houses. They had stuff all out in the yards. They were selling everything, the furniture, the refrigerator, everything, except for the kitchen sink. But so we started looking around, and like I said, it was about 5 minutes before the auction started. I saw that blue tub in the garage because I saw somebody else going through it and checking out what was in there. And then that's when it caught my eye, and I started looking. So then, while we were waiting, they started bundling stuff because they're just trying to get rid of things. They just want the auction to move as fast as possible. We were only there for 2 hours, and they hadn't even gone through about a quarter of the stuff. We were just getting tired, and people were getting cranky, and we just wanted to get out of there. So we just grabbed what we won, paid for it, and took off. So when they did that auction for the handheld games, they bundled in a couple of things. They bundled in this big wooden speaker box that I didn't need, so I gave that away to somebody to think. So I was like, there's really no way I'm going to fit that in my little car. I drive a little 07 Focus, so there's no way I was really going to fit it. But the guy threw these in. It's a 2001 Softworks. It has the software, the manual is in there. I got 2 copies of the 2001. I got 2 copies of the 2003 Softworks. I got 1 copy of the 2006 Upgrade. And I got 1 copy of the PhotoWorks Release 2. Now, I had no idea what they were. I was like, it's old computer software. It's probably not going to be worth much, which was my rookie mistake. So once we loaded it all up and got it home, and I was looking through it, and I decided to look it up online because I was like, well, let me take a chance on it, look it up, see if it's worth anything, then I'll go ahead and list it. I found out, looking it up, SolidWorks is a 3D printer software. Now, I got that whole lot of the software that I just showed you, and all of those games, and that blue tub behind me, the handheld games, for $8 total, because the guy that I was bidding against didn't want to go any higher than $8. Not sure why. Maybe he didn't realize what was there in the handheld games, but whatever. That's my come up. And so, when I looked it up, I noticed that a lot similar to what I had sold for right around $300. And I was just like, that's crazy. I'm like, there's no way I'm going to get $300 for it. When I was looking through it, I did have to throw 1 box of the 2003 away because the discs were broken. But one thing I did notice that I got very, very lucky on, I don't want to actually show it on camera just in case, but the person who owned this software, he wrote down the registration codes and the serial numbers that you need to be able to install and access this software and use it. And that's the one thing that helped me make the money on it, that saved me and helped me make, well, going on $200 now. I had them all up together as a big lot together for right around $300, and this guy sent me a message on eBay saying, would I take $100 for just the 2003 software because that's all I want? And he was like, can you please make sure that it has the registration number and the serial number? And so I was like, sure, no problem. So I took the $100 offer. And then, like, was it a couple nights ago, about a week later, I decided I was going to list these last four because they were just sitting here doing nothing. So I threw the last four of them up on eBay, and I was like, well, I'm going to throw them up at an auction this time instead of a buy it now, see what happens. And sure enough, a couple hours after I listed it, I already got a $100 bid. Excuse me, on those four that I just showed you. And I mean, I spent a total of $30 that day at the estate auction because I bought one of those HP ProJet all-in-one printers that turned out to be a dud. It doesn't actually work. I'm hoping I can actually. It's another good tip is sell it out for parts. I think it just needs new print heads, but they're like $50 a print head. So I mean, eventually I may just break down and buy new print heads and see if that helps. Hopefully, if it does, then I'll have a good printer. If not, I think for parts I can still sell it for another 40 or $50 for parts. But it's a pretty heavy printer, and this is another good tip too. Now that I'm thinking about it, with a heavier item, I put it up on Craigslist rather than trying to list it on eBay and have somebody pay a fortune in shipping. I'm hoping I can just get a local buyer up here, since it is a pretty heavy item, just to come and take it off my hands, so I can at least make a tiny profit off of it. At least it's not a loss. So hopefully you've learned some things. If you like this video, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what I'm doing wrong if you don't like the video. Until then, just remember, a good day of picking is better than a bad day of work. Or maybe it's the other way around. A bad day of picking is better than a good day of work. Anyway, see ya.